Tonight on Country Squire Radio, it's a Squire next. And we haven't even started
Can't
yet.
even get that right.
Squire Selects night tonight on Country Squire Radio. That's
I
where
love
we're
it.
pairing alcohol with pipe tobacco, because this is work.
And you hadn't had a drink yet. You already
No,
messed
the
it up.
sad thing is I really haven't.
Or you're about to.
We've also got a great pipe question about taste, listener feedback, and more happening right now on Country Squire Radio. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Beau. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Happy Memorial Day to you, man.
Happy Memorial Day to you.
I know.
as well.
Such a somber but good day in American, just kind of rituals and rhythm. We celebrate the folks that have given their life to our country and to defend our liberties today. It's interesting as I recognize that, I've noticed people that have had family members that have passed away through whatever conflict, that they are really interested in making sure people know the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
And there is a difference. So, today this is the weekend we really honor the folks that have made the ultimate sacrifice. And not just with American troops, but we think about peace-loving troops across the world as well that have been our allies at times and things of that nature. And so anyway, I just wanted to start the show kind of mentioning that we're
absolutely.
a lot of really wonderful families out there that are looking back on some relatives that have blessed them and blessed us with their lives. So anyway, but it's a good day also for a pipe and maybe a piece of fried chicken and a watermelon,
a little bit of barbecue,
all that other stuff. Yeah,
man, I went for a run today in my neighborhood, and
you did not.
I did. Well, it was like a half run, and then it turned into a walk. You know what I mean?
That sounds terrifying.
Look, it's one of these things that on a day like today, where you're right, we've got such great meaning behind it. But at the same time, a lot of people, and I mean, this is just life in America. When there's a holiday with significant meaning behind it, how do we celebrate? Well, we celebrate with food,
right?
And so
we fry stuff and then drink.
Exactly. And so the barbecue was in the air, man. It was
it's nice.
It smells amazing.
Beau and I live in the same neighborhood, for those who are listening, and there's a gym that I was a member of for like a week. It's in our neighborhood. It's affiliated with the hospital.
It's a good
gym, on the edge of our neighborhood. But one of the nicest restaurants in Jackson is literally
That's
right across the street from the doggone gym. And every single morning, it doesn't matter what time you go, because every single morning they start slow smoking their brisket and their ribs. And I think they have the vent like on purpose pointing straight at the health plex.
Just right there.
So you just walked out, you just like, you're covered in sweat, and you feel shamed because you couldn't even run a mile. And you deadlifted all of the bar.
Right.
And so you're just like, man, I'm just pitiful. And then you smell these ribs.
Come to me. Come to
It's just not fair.
I got to get this out.
And then I got to smoke my pipe because that suppresses my appetite.
No. Look, I got to get this out of the way because about a year ago, a little bit over that, I talked about struggling with food as I've been known to do from time to time. And I was celebrating the fact that I had been so many days without incident. Today, I want to confess this. Hi, my name is Beau York, and I went to Krispy Kreme today.
Oh,
I know.
man.
It's been over a year.
Golly.
And so I hope
it's been that long since
stating this publicly, it'll shame me into never, ever, ever going back.
The darkness flees from the light, right? So you introduce light to this very tender area, and so now we'll have much more reason to eat Krispy Kreme around you.
Yeah,
and
did not go well. You buy the box, and it's the small box, but you buy it.
The first two don't even count.
You're gonna right?
No, they don't. They just disappear.
And then you bring the rest of them. Like, I'm going to share the rest of these, and then nobody eats them, and so they're there.
Yeah, that's bull.
And then they're not.
It's a disaster.
But you actually were tempting me with some tasty delicatessens as I walked through the door.
Yeah, I don't know if you used that word right, but yeah, the actually one of our local friends, Father Andy, is a priest at our local Greek Orthodox church, and he had from Greek Fest, which was recent, some baklava that was homemade that he brought up here, and it is fine. It is delicate. It is decadent and fine.
Excellent.
Yes, very, very, very good.
Well, looks good, man. Well, no, in all fairness, I'm kind of coming off my my beach trip. Live viewers know that last week, while we did have, of course, the podcast out, we did not actually do a live show because I was at the beach. Full disclosure, several weeks ago, we had a pipe or a Country Squire radio specifically talking about best practices for smoking your pipe at the beach.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
that was for me. I wanted to learn. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to smoke my pipe all that much, but man, it was beautiful. And I just got to say, going out there, this is the first time bringing the kids, their first time seeing the ocean, and just a really, really special experience. But I discovered something about myself while I was out there, and that is that I don't like coconut if it's in anything else other than flavoring rum, in which case I am a huge fan.
Well, that's not, I think the only time I've had coconut rum was maybe in college.
Oh man.
And it's that, what is that stuff that is made by, it's called Malibu. Is
yes.
that it? And so you sound excited about it. And I just remember that, the stuff kind of got the job done and tasted a little bit like shampoo. But everyone's got their thing.
I got it. I got into it this time around. I only really drink rum at the beach, and I only drink coconut rum when I'm drinking rum now, or something like that. If you mix it with the spiced rum, and then it's delicious, absolutely delicious. Well, hey man, go Dogs, right? Aren't you going to like Starkville pretty soon?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been excited about football season.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was hoping you'd educate me on this because I noticed that you posted something on Facebook where you were really excited because you were going to a game.
No,
was it just a game, or was
that was a hype video from Mississippi State, and of course, SEC, country. Of course, we're always thinking about. It's kind of like Christmas, several months in advance.
Now the SEC, that's the Super Bowl, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
The Super Bowl is squash, Beau.
That's right.
Yeah,
and they can get in a fight, but only if they make a basket.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, and don't ever go near Starkville. It's one of those things. In this part of the world, we get fired up about football months ahead of time, and so my girlfriend's actually never been to a game. Is that right? I don't think she's ever been to a game at State, a football game, and so we're going to solve that this fall by going to a Mississippi State football game. So anyway, that's what that was about, and I'm sure I'll consume many a pipe and cigar on the way to and from God's country.
Do y'all do tailgating at?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Is pipe smoking allotted on campus? I know that some campuses are weird with that.
Yeah, the rule up there, at least as far as I'm familiar with, is you have to be so far away from a building, and so they've made. Now that could have changed in the past couple of years, but last time I knew, it was as long as you were so many feet away from a structure, then you were fine. These folks want to ban it completely or whatever. So it's just kind of an ongoing thing. But
I think I've mentioned before, like at the Reformed University a school that's up near Jackson, Mississippi. I've been to it several times, and I've always seen the sign that says, no smoking does not happen on this campus. I'm like,
oh no, you talking about the seminary that I used to go to? Oh, I can't tell you how many tobacco bowls I burned behind I was in the counseling program there for a while. And man, I cannot tell you how many bowls of Frogmorton and how many Nat Shermans were consumed on school property. And they know that now, so we're cool.
Well, hey man, we've got a great show coming up next week. Of course, next week is the 200th episode of Country Squire Radio.
I'm so excited.
That's right. We'll be doing it live right here in the Country Squire. I know you're thinking you're doing it live now, but no. We're doing it live for you to come to the Country Squire, sit in, be part of the shenanigans.
Yeah, you're actually welcome to sit in that night and hang out with us. We're going to record a little early, kind of our old time. Right?
Not our old time, but our old time.
Right.
Yeah.
So 6:30 Central Time, Monday night.
What if we did like a super trifecta where we just did it first thing in the morning, then at 6 o'clock, then again at 8 o'clock?
This isn't like Easter, dude. I'm not gonna have a morning service or like a midnight mass.
Right.
And we're excited about this. We're actually going to shut the shop down a little bit earlier. We've invited all of you to come join us. And Beau, if they want to buy a ticket for that, what's the best way for them to do that?
If you go to countrysquireradio.com, you'll see a big banner that says episode 200 details. Click here. It'll take you right to the place where you can go and get your ticket for it. Seating is going to be limited, so you definitely do want to buy a ticket. And then also, we'll have some fun stuff. We got a cake. We were just debating on what kind of cake we were going to get.
Yeah.
But we will have a cake as well as some adult beverage.
I was kind of hoping we could get one with Pappy Joe's face on it.
Well, no, that's the leaning. That's where we're kind of leaning right now.
Yeah, we're kind of going in that direction.
Yeah. So we'll see what.
Would it have to be a rum cake or like a bundt cake or something? I don't know.
But, I think a rum.
But what's gonna be fun? Yeah, something alcohol infused.
Yeah, definitely alcohol.
But we're actually that night after the show, we're gonna open the shop up. We'll have some choice beverages. We'll have some whiskey and some beer on hand, of course, cake, and bring your pipes, bring your cigars, and we will we're gonna have a good time staying up late that night and celebrating our CSR community.
So it's gonna be
great. Yep.
All right. Before we dive into tonight's show, we of course have to give a shout out to new Pipe Club members.
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to tell you this. In fact, I was blown away when I saw this come through. We now have, as a member of the Country Squire Radio International Pipe Club, ladies and gentlemen, James Bond himself, Sean Connery.
Is Sean Cooney.
Sean Cooney?
Yeah.
That looks a lot like Connery.
It does look a lot like Connery. Yeah. And it might be him kind of
it could be related.
Incognito or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he just kind of wants to, it's like putting on a mustache, and some funny glasses.
Sean, you don't have to hide behind the Cooney. We know that you're really Sean Connery. It's cool, brother. It's cool. It's
man, Sean, thanks for joining the Country Squire Radio Pipe Club and supporting us at the Squire level. Man, that is really kind of you. And again, that it very directly helps us put the show on. So we're really thankful for that.
Absolutely. Also, shout out to new patron as well, Ian Sanders. Thank you so much. And guys, if y'all want to help support the show, go over to countrysquireradio.com. Got a big button that says join the club. It's a great way, as John David said, to help support the show directly. And it helps make sure that you get this content every single week, like the content you're going to get tonight, which is a Squire Select episode.
That's right, man.
All right. So Squire Select, longtime listeners know what this is. Basically, we take adult beverage, generally whiskey, generally bourbon, that sort of thing. But we've been known to kind of do some varying different beverages from time to time. And we pair those up with tobacco. I say we, really, John David uses his expertise, his legendary taste buds to find the
legendary. I get a promotion every time we do this. You come up with like a new description of how incredible my abilities are.
No, I think the legend of John David's taste buds. I think that's a ballad that's waiting to be written.
Oh, well, we'll have to see.
Well, I tell you what, man, if there is a ballad to be written, it should be written over some choice beverages.
Yeah.
So what do we have on tap here tonight?
Okay, so I have to admit, I'm really excited about tonight's episode because we've got some very unique and interesting pairings, and I think these pair pretty well. I was proud of how these worked out. But anyway, so tonight, as is tradition, a lot of times we're kind of tend on Country Squire Radio towards the brown water. We like things like whiskey, scotch, and have tried several different types of scotches and bourbons and things of that nature. So tonight we're going to do that like we always do. And we are going to start with barrel bourbon. Now, it's kind of funny. You're like, barrel bourbon, is that the name of the brand? And actually it is. It's from the Barrel Craft Spirits Company. They're actually out of Georgetown, Kentucky. And this is a really interesting company. I thought this was fascinating as I was kind of researching this, and it's such an interesting flavor. But even the company itself is they've got an interesting business model. So what they do, what Barrel does, they actually also have rums and some other different types of whiskey. But I think their main kind of go-to spirit is going to be the bourbon.
Yeah.
And so anyway, what Barrel does is they take small batch whiskeys from across the country and buy them in their small batches from other makers. Okay, so they actually don't make this whiskey, but what they do is they select it at a young age and then age it themselves, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, wow.
And so they have gone to all these small batch makers and other makers across the country. And we were talking places like, the Midwest, Texas, traditional bourbon country, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, right there.
And so they're looking for very interesting batches of whiskey that they buy and then age in their own way and then sell. And what they do, so every single batch they come out with is a small batch. It's something you'll never be able to get again. If you're a pipe smoker, think of like kind of like Christmas cheer or something. It's a one-time tobacco. It just comes out one time, and it's going to be different every single year. You won't be able to get it again, kind of thing. And so they have these different, almost like vintages that come out, where they've gone around the country and selected from other makers. So it's just kind of an interesting concept. Another thing they do, which I really like, even though I don't drink a lot of high proof whiskey, is they sell everything they get at cask strength. And so every single thing they get is sold at cask strength. This is kind of neat. So
cask strength.
Strength. What that means is that it comes out of the barrel and goes into the bottle. And so it's not mixed with anything. It's not cut with water.
No water
it's
down.
It's not mixed with other whiskeys or bourbons or anything like that. This is the strength that comes out of the barrel at. And so if you're familiar with bourbon and the aging process of different spirits, like it, it's just going to be a lot stronger. Now, what's interesting, the one we're talking about tonight, this is barrel bourbon cask strength number 9, 009. And this is both their oldest bourbon that they have currently in their kind of bevy, but then also it is their lowest proof bourbon. And I say lowest proof. The proof of this bottle is 112 proof. So like that just kind of gives you an idea. Like this is a 13-year-old bottle of whiskey. They've been sitting on this joker for a while, and they come out with this, and they're like, well, we'll come out with a milder one, and it's 112 proof. Right. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But this is one of the most interesting bourbons I've had in quite a while. Of course, I don't drink as much bourbon as you and some of our other listeners. I tend towards these silly drinks like gin and tonics.
No, gin's good, man. You've turned me on to gin, by the way.
No, I'm all about it. And by the way, our good friend Mark VV brought me some barrel aged Boodles. He took my favorite. He took my favorite gin. Boodles. He took my favorite gin, and he got one of these little kit things that you put in there, and it kind of infuses it with the charred oaky flavor, the charcoal kind of thing. And so this Boodles it looks like whiskey.
Whoa, hang on.
And so it's
so he like VV.
Yeah. He bought the Boodles, and then he put this thing in it that kind of simulates like barrel aging, and it's fine. I mean, it's very different.
You're a New Orleans boy.
He's like, you know what? Let's take some liquor and put some more liquor in it. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's great.
But yeah. Anyway, that was really cool. But this is a fascinating bourbon that we've got here, and so, Beau, I'm gonna pour you.
Oh yes.
A dram.
So while you're pouring that, I'll mention. So this one is it's kind of down to the last bit in here, and that is because it was a bit of a pre-birthday gift to myself.
Oh man, I can't believe I poured you that much because it's really strong.
Well, I didn't. You went to a school where you were drinking that Malibu all the time.
I know, right?
So you kind of spent all your tolerance early on. I went to a Baptist college.
Oh, so. That's right. You got to get that out of your way. Yeah.
Exactly. Cheers,
Beau. So that's some of it's some of the thickest, strongest whiskey I've personally ever enjoyed.
It's so
and I say that very intentionally. Like most whiskeys that are that proof and above, I just can't enjoy because all I taste is like a medicinal, just iodine, like just almost like it's just too powerful. It's so powerful that I can't enjoy the flavor. And on this particular whiskey, it is so strong, and yet I can still grasp the smoothness, and I love that. There's something about it that it is just really, really tasty. One thing I was trying to describe the flavors on this, I kept coming back to kind of a dried fruit flavor, and so I wanted to get online and just see what other folks were getting.
Interesting. You picked that up.
I got dried fruit from this.
This is why he's legendary.
And I got on actually the company's website, so Barrel Craft Spirits, and looked at this particular vintage, and the first thing that they said, which I thought was really strange, was caramelized plantains. Okay.
Ooh.
Now, so you hear that and you're thinking these snobby hipsters, like they're going to try to impart something like a caramelized plantain on, like they're going to try to superimpose that silly of a description on top of a liquor. But I'm telling you, like,
well, let me guess. You wanted to say raisins.
No. Shut up. So bad. But I really got it. I got like, I like, there's actually a Jamaican place here in town that sells the Taste of the Caribbean downtown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and they sell these plantains that are caramelized. That's kind of one of the sides you can get there on your meal. And like they said that, and it immediately took me there. It was really interesting. Also notes of molasses, dried apricots and cherries, and man, I was just so excited to try this. So when I was drinking this and kind of thinking about my pairing with this, I tried a few things. I was to me it screamed English blend. Okay, so we're thinking of pipes. It is sweet enough to where you could maybe lean more towards an aromatic, but I really thought this particular one screamed English blend.
Strong flavor needs strong, like a
you know,
strong.
And this, yeah, strong pairing. And what's fascinating is you know me well enough, and our listeners know me well enough too, that I don't smoke a ton of English blends. I'm more of a Virginia Perique guy. And so it takes a lot for me to kind of say, man, I feel like smoking Latakia. Like I feel like smoking something with a lot of Latakia. And this bourbon just kind of made that happen for me. So the one I picked tonight's a tobacco we've talked about before on the show, and it comes from a whole series of tobaccos. It's Frogmorton on the Bayou. Frogmorton.
Oh yes, sir.
Frogmorton, of course, is a tobacco series that is made by McClelland, the McClelland Tobacco Company of Kansas City. And what Mike McNeil did up there many moons ago, they developed this. It's a Craftsberry series, I think is what they call it. But it's got several blends in that. They've got Deep Hollow and Grey Havens, and they've got Frogmorton. And there's 5 different Frogmortons. We talked on an episode not long ago. One of the Frogmortons is being retired or has been retired because the Syrian Latakia is not available anymore. But Frogmorton on the Bayou, this has always been my favorite of the Frogmortons, and it's because it's got Perique in it. And so you're looking at the strongest of all the Frogmortons. So I like the pairing here because we're talking about a bourbon that's got a really high alcohol content, but is still smooth, and it has those notes of sweetness that you get from something like a plantain or an apricot. It's not just so harsh that the power of it kind of knocks you over. So I wanted to pair something with that, and the Frogmortons just really go there for me. Frogmorton tobacco, the whole series, particularly the regular one, the Frogmorton on the log or whatever. They really have a nice dosage of Cavendish in there too, which kind of gives it a nice soft flavor. But there's enough Latakia in there to make them really robust and strong. So McClelland refers to this particular one, the Frogmorton on the Bayou, as a Balkan blend, which I thought is interesting. They said, when vacationing on the Bayou, Frogmorton prefers this satisfying Balkan pipe tobacco blend, which adds enough of Louisiana's own richly fragrant and cool smoking Perique. And I like Frogmorton on the Bayou. It's one of like I said, one of my favorite. It's my favorite Frogmorton blend, but it's also one of my favorite McClelland blends because it does have a really nice strength, but it also has just enough sweetness in the background to kind of make it interesting. That kind of vinegary, spicy Perique that's in there is really nice. I toyed with going in the direction of Frogmorton's Cellar on this, and the Cellar, as much as I like it, and it's probably their best-selling Frogmorton of all of the Cellar is the one that's aged in a whiskey barrel. But it's also really sweet. The Frogmorton Cellar is a sweet tobacco. It's something that I think a lot of real heavy English blend smokers shy away from because it just has maybe a little too much natural sugar in it. But this Frogmorton Bayou, it's just got a real nice, robust strength to it. So here, Beau, I'll let you smell that.
Oh man,
I love that stuff, man. It's the Frogmorton line of tobaccos that was kind of the series that taught me that tobacco could be more than just a flavoring. Like I always tell folks, like the Frogmortons is kind of like if all you've ever smoked is like a cherry blend or a vanilla blend or something like that, like a 1Q. Frogmorton is almost like the gateway drug. Like it's like this thing that you smoke it and it has just enough sweetness to keep you in the game, but it's got so many different flavors that you've never been exposed to before. And on the Bayou is probably the epitome of that because of the Perique in there. So anyway, I just love this. I think the strength, but with the kind of mellow sweetness in the background, really goes well with the number 9 from Barrel Bourbon.
Yeah, of course, Frogmorton on the Bayou, and amazing. I mean, that's a strong pairing right there. seeing some echoes and some amens coming in on Twitter as well. The marketing, what do you call it? The packaging, of course, for the Frogmorton. All the Frogmorton series depicts the primary character of the frog doing what he may be doing, be it in the cellar or otherwise. Of course, here we've got him on the bayou on a lily pad, pushing himself along with like a long pole stick. He's smoking his pipe. He's got those little spectacles on, if I'm seeing that correctly, and looks like he may even have a little picnic out. He's going for a little outing on the bayou, and so who knows? Maybe in that little jug, he is enjoying some barrel bourbon.
You just never know. Yeah, and
man, this is a strong pairing.
I was really happy with it. Yeah, as I smoked the tobacco and really enjoyed the whiskey along with it, it seemed to make a lot of sense.
I can see it, man.
Yep.
I can see it. Well, man, this is so strong.
So what do we follow this with, right? It's such an interesting pairing and such a great thing that we could look after. But of course,
what's so unique?
As is tradition, of course, on Squire Select, we do two alcohols, two beverages, and we pair them with two different tobaccos. Out in left field, right? So we always love that occasionally we get kind of donations of this kind of thing from,
oh yes, we definitely love that.
From some of our listeners. And so one thing that came into our shop recently that I'd never had, I'd never even heard of before, and I was just so excited and interested to try this because it was it's just so different and something that's really rare. It's a type of liquor you go in your liquor store and they might have one variety of, okay, just something really really small batch. So we're not talking about bourbon. It's something
we're leaving Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen.
We're leaving Kentucky and we're heading we're heading to Eastern Europe, and we're going specifically to the Balkans and specifically to Greece. And
what you balking about?
I'm balking about I'm balking about ouzo. Now, ouzo, this is a really interesting liqueur. I had never even heard of it, and maybe that's just some of my own lack of experience or education. But ouzo, this is such a fascinating liquor to me, and I was so happy to get to know it. And as I've had it, I want to stockpile it because it's so good, but it is such a unique liquor that I think it's not going to be particularly for everyone.
Now I want to mention that, of course, this is a definite gear change. Not just are we going overseas, and not just are we leaving Kentucky, but this is we've gone from
brown liquor to clear liquor.
Exactly. We are now in the clear liquor department.
This is also kind of seen, because it is so sweet, it's kind of seen as a liqueur. You can put it in cocktails and people drink it on ice, which I'm drinking right now. But typically ouzo is kind of seen as liqueur because it's so sweet. So aperitif, maybe before, after dinner or something like that.
Okay.
This is, and I think this is where a lot of folks lose interest in it. This is
that's not a good start. But
this is an anise flavored liquor. Okay, so it has anise in it. No,
anise. Okay.
Anise. It has anise in it. So an aniseed flavored liquor. So think licorice. Okay, think of that kind of licorice flavor. You've got oh gosh, what are some Sambuca, Goldschlager, some of these things out there that kind of have that licorice tone to it that is at a varying degree. Now, if you drink this straight, it's got a heavy licorice flavor to it. But what a lot of folks do is they'll mix it with water, put it on a little ice, which I'm about to do for you, Beau, and then drink it. And it's kind of a refreshing, spritzy drink. Just has a little bit of that. Just has almost a gin kind of consistency. But the licorice, when you do that, it kind of hides in the background a little more, which is kind of nice. So I personally love licorice. So I get ridiculed by my friends because it's like the number one old man candy, other than maybe some kind of butterscotch or what those nasty old like Mary Janes that people used to give out or something.
Sure. All right, so Uzi, and it says mini.
Ouzo.
The Ouzo, I'm sorry.
Right.
The only thing that I can make out
here,
Uzi, because the language is Balkan.
It's Greek.
It's Greek.
It's Greek.
It's Greek to me.
You're looking at Greek. That's right.
That's for sure.
That's right.
All right. So it's ouzo, and then it says mini. The mini is.
That's right. That's actually the brand. So,
gotcha.
It comes from, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher all this stuff, but this particular ouzo is Mytilene Distilleries, and it's an isle. Or Mytilene is a city. We'll get more to the location of this stuff in just a moment. But ouzo traces its kind of genesis back to the 1300s. So it's really an old type of liquor. They started to take these, natural spirits. Think almost like a like a moonshine type of thing, and then
Oh, sure, yeah.
they would flavor them with things like aniseed, maybe coriander, cardamom, cloves, a lot of stuff that you see even in not just some other liqueurs, but also gin and things like that. And so this was kind of it's been around for several centuries, but never really became popular until the Greek independence movement in the early 1800s. So it was kind of seen as like this Greek, it's a very Greek thing. It's something that, oh, well, if you're Greek, we drink ouzo because we're Greek. We're Scottish, we drink Scotch whiskey because we're Scottish, kind of thing. And
Gotcha.
so, and what's interesting is as the 20th century came about, a lot of folks picked up on ouzo because absinthe became a lot less common for whatever reason. The ouzo was kind of considered a substitute for absinthe without the wormwood, which I think is interesting. Where absinthe has that kind of peculiar flavor, which I haven't had a lot of absinthe, but so these kind of folks that are interested in one might be interested in the other, which is kind of neat. So again, you either drink it straight and it's got a super aniseed licorice flavor. It's like someone just liquefied a Good and Plenty candy, which I love, but most of my friends hate. And then, or you've got it, you can mix it on ice and take in, kind of like that. So anyway, I'm a pour you some.
Yeah, man. Hook me up with some of this ouzo. I keep on wanting to say Uzi, but that is not correct.
It's ouzo.
Okay.
So let me tell you that about this particular ouzo.
Yeah, you mentioned that this came from it was donated.
So it's donated. This was donated by a friend of the show. And it's actually a real good friend of the show. It's one that has some other friends that are actual Greeks, and so these folks, they live part-time in the United States, part-time in Greece, and they come back and forth. And so this ouzo was actually brought straight from Greece, and particularly from the Isle of Lesbos.
Lesbos, Greece.
That's right. So this is from the Mytilene Distilleries, which is a lesbian company.
So wait, this was actually distilled in Lesbos?
On Lesbos. That's right.
Wow,
that's right. And so this is some of the finest of all of lesbian ouzo.
I cannot wait to try it. Okay. Nope.
It's so good. It is so tasty. All right, here, I'm gonna pour some water on it.
This is, and look, I'm not, no disrespect to all of the lesbians that worked on this.
That's right.
It's just, this is just not for me. All right, so you cut it with more water. I'm gonna try it again. Understand, I'm laughing at the pure disgust of the taste here.
No, not just the fact that it was made on the Isle of Lesbos, right?
Okay, now now that you actually cut it with some water.
So the water, notice it even gives it kind of this milky look to it, and so it's really, I think it's delicious. Okay, I love it. I've been sipping on it all afternoon and really like it. Of course, this is very popular in Greece, and folks that do like that aniseed flavor do tend to gravitate towards liqueurs like this. But anyway,
look, I'm not judging. Okay, understand. I mean, whatever your taste is, this might be for you. That's fine. And whatever they do in Greece, I mean, look, if this is what's popular in Greece, who am I to judge? I'm just saying that for me personally, I can't. I tried it. You know what? I tried it.
Well, hey,
look, I'm saying that a lot of people actually have tried this, and some people did in college, and you gotta
occasionally there's a time to try lesbian ouzo.
You gotta figure out your taste buds.
That's correct.
You gotta figure out your taste buds.
So sometimes you go back to what you know best. So
the fact of the matter is, look, some would say just choose. Like maybe you can learn to like it.
Just choose wisely.
I'm just saying, I'm not, whether by choice or just I was born with different taste buds. This ouzo
it's not for you.
For me.
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Okay. Well,
but I did try it.
Having gone there and explored that to the degree that we have, we do want to thank our good friend and listener for donating this to Country Squire Radio. I love this stuff. I think it's great. What's interesting?
Oh yeah, again, I don't want to bash it all. If you,
no, if that's your thing,
please
right?
continue to donate as much alcohol as you like to the show. But yeah, look, the only time I'll say this, the only time that I've ever had a licorice,
kind of a licorice flavored thing,
something that I enjoyed really fully was
Yeah.
here. It was those cookies that somebody made.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like,
Actually, our friend Stephen B
I love
from
Stephen.
Brandon. Yeah,
Yeah. I
good
was
friend of the show.
enjoying
His wife
those.
made them. Yeah.
But and you know, maybe if I was eating those cookies and then switch to this, maybe I could do it. But I don't
So
know.
so that kind of goes to my pairing a little bit. Now what's interesting is a lot of people that don't care for licorice. Um, you know, they're like, oh, that's this old man tobacco or old man candy that tastes nasty. The flavoring of licorice, that anise flavor, it is lurking in so many tobaccos.
What?
It is, Beau. It's amazing that if you talk to other blenders and even just read the back of some of these labels, you know, you will see anise lurking in all these different tobaccos. And so, and I'm talking about, you know, aromatics and non-aromatics. You know, there's a very what would be considered non-aromatic tobaccos that are very, very lightly flavored with some of this anise seed, and it's so incredibly potent that in small quantities it can kind of make itself known. And so this anise is just lurking everywhere. And so one of the tobaccos that I've always gotten it from, but I've always gotten it way in the background, is actually non-aromatic tobacco. And this is one of my favorite tobaccos. It's actually Deception Pass from Seattle Pipe Club.
Deception.
It's deceiving because you don't.
I feel like you deceived me into drinking this.
Are you did I deceive you?
I went into it thinking one thing, and then it turned out to be something else.
It's true.
All right, so but this is the deal. So you say that, like, much like the cookies, perhaps this could bring out an appreciation for the flavor.
It might bring out an appreciation of the flavor.
Okay.
So let me kind of explain my pairing here. Deception Pass. This is my personal favorite tobacco from Seattle Pipe Club, and what's funny, it's probably their least best selling of all their stuff. But I love it. It describes itself as a Northwest style Virginia Perique fusion with a bit of Turkish Orientals. It's a Joe Langford blend, which Joe's a member of their club. I'll read the back. It says, Deception Pass on North Puget Sound, tidal waters flow dangerous and quick under a high trestle bridge. Master blender Joe Langford retreats here to reflect. Joe's Northwest style Virginia Perique gives the pipe smoker a sense of how we savor our marvelous region. Enjoy English style Virginias, Acadian Perique, Black Virginia, Black Cavendish, and a touch of rare Turkish Orientals, crafted by the most sought after small batch blends in America since 2007. So anyway, this is a really great blend. I always tell folks this is kind of a tobacco that I feel like at its heart kind of wants to be an aromatic, but it isn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so, but I've always gotten a faint hint of that aniseed flavor way in the background there. So give it a smell. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it out, but I think you'll like it.
All right, wants to be an aromatic, but just isn't.
It just can't quite get.
It's got to be true to itself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, that's interesting because that is subtle. You don't know right there, John?
No, it's true to itself. You're right. You're right.
The this is extremely subtle in terms of kind of the 10 notes.
Yeah. I love this tobacco. This is one of the tobaccos. Whenever I open a tin of this, and I open this tin specifically for this pairing, which means I'll be smoking this regularly from now on. But whenever I open a tin of this, I don't deviate. Like I smoke the whole can within like a week and a half.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I mean it just goes. Like I don't. It's one of those things. Like when I open it, I just get kind of hooked to it because the flavors are soft, but very complex, and there's this kind of sweetness lurking in the background. And so with the ouzo, as I was smoking this particular tobacco, drinking the Greek ouzo, it was amazing how it brought that aniseed to the front of it. So it's almost like it's almost like here in the South, we love watermelons, right? This time of year, we kind of, pull out, it's just kind of a barbecue classic thing. Beau, have you ever seen folks that have put salt on a watermelon? Have you ever seen that happen?
I've seen it, never done it.
Yeah. And so when you do that, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the little salt particles. I don't know if it's the iodine or something, but it makes that sweetness in the melon really come out. So if it's a watermelon that doesn't have a lot of sweetness, that just little dash of salt will kind of pull out those sugars for you to appreciate it more. It's kind of weird, really. But anyway, I feel like this Deception Pass mixed with the ouzo kind of has a similar a similar effect. I just think it's great, and it really magnifies that aniseed in the background there that I love so much.
So, of course, the Deception you mentioned, of course, the Seattle Pipe Club. In terms of just the look of the tin, there's a I don't know what the right phraseology there is, but you can pick out a Seattle Pipe Club tin.
Yeah, you always know the tin. It's really the shape and the size of the tin.
But even the color palette, I mean, they're all very different.
Yeah, they're kind of muted. The color palette is kind of
Exactly.
not pastels, but just kind of a off muted color. Yeah.
And this particular one, you got a crane kind of chilling out underneath the pass there.
Great tobacco. Of course, they kind of made their waves with the Mississippi River and plum pudding, but have made several tobaccos since then. And Deception Pass just happens to be my personal favorite.
Okay, well, so I can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I take a sip of the Ouzo, I take a whiff of the Deception. I see what's going on.
Does it take you to the Isle of Lesbos?
Well, I'll put it this way: there's clearly a similarity going on here that is perfectly matched for each other. Whereas some people might say get something that kind of contrasts, and then together they get. But
that's right.
You find what works.
There's a lot of similarity there.
There's a lot of I can see that. And so while it may not be my thing, I'm glad that you enjoy it. And I'm glad that you will be enjoying this pairing for
the next few weeks.
For the next few weeks.
That's right.
Absolutely. But no, big shout out, of course, to the Seattle Pipe Club and their amazing blends. I would actually at some point we should really dedicate a show to the Seattle Pipe Club and kind of what they've done in terms of
probably good
their various blends and such.
Cheers, Beau.
Cheers. I keep on sipping it. You poured me a huge glass here.
I did. Well, whatever you don't finish, I'll finish.
Okay. There you go.
You can switch back to your 112 proof whiskey.
Yes, I will. As soon as the taste
I'm going to light my Briarworks Calabash back up that's full of Deception Pass and continue to enjoy it with my my Ouzo from the Isle of Lesbos.
You absolutely should. And while you're doing that, I should encourage you, no matter what you want to pack into your pipe, a good pipe that you can pack with it. Wait, that makes sense. It's a Squire Select night. So
that's right.
Sometimes it all gets jumbled.
That's right.
But hey, we'll make it less jumbled by taking two pipes, putting it in the same box. And what do you get? You get a gift set from Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right. That's right.
Like that transition.
Of course, Missouri Meerschaum, they've got such a nice offering of gift sets that come in a variety of their different finishes and craftings of their different pipes. So, things from, the Great Dane, the Country Gentleman, the Diplomat, in a bent and straight set. Some of their sets, I think, even come with tobacco. There's just a whole smorgasbord of options that you can get from them, and they make perfect gifts. We're talking, in most cases, less than $30 for a really handsome pair of nice, very high quality corncob pipes.
Absolutely. The good folks at Missouri Meerschaum, they put a lot of attention to detail and really do make some of the best, the most quality corncob pipes you're going to find on the market. And by going with the gift set, it is great for whatever the occasion might be it birthday, anniversary. Hey, Mother's Day came and went. Did you get your mom a gift set from Missouri Meerschaum? Shame on you if you said no. You should do that. Rectify that right now. Don't get her one pipe, get her two with the gift set from Missouri Meerschaum. And hey, by the way, if you got a Missouri Meerschaum pipe, be sure smoke it this week. Take a picture of yourself. Tweet it out to us. We will retweet it out. It's a great way to let the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum know you appreciate them for supporting this show. Pipe question of the week this week comes in from Matthew Butler.
Hey, Matthew. Love Matthew.
Yeah, man.
Good
Matthew,
friend.
He's got a great question dealing with taste. So definitely apropos.
Yeah.
Considering what we've been discussing tonight. He says, what does an Oriental tobacco leaf taste/smoke like? I've had a few people attribute them to the perfumey nature of some tobaccos, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. Help! Exclamation mark. Man, yeah. Matthew needs some help.
No, it's a good question. Orientals, they're kind of all over the map. The ones we mostly use, here at the shop are a variety of Turkish leaves, and then of course, the Izmir that is so popular. But you've got other kinds out there as well. I think Orientals are hard to pin down. Typically, when you open a package or a bag of Oriental leaves, they're pretty dry. It's a tobacco that tends to be, it's cured in a way that just kind of leaves it on the drier side. They tend to have a good bit of nicotine, and they kind of have a musty smell to them. I was actually talking with a friend of mine and a listener the other day about it. Orientals almost have like a, I hate to say this, almost like a wet sock kind of thing going on. They kind of do. It's weird. They have this kind of
Wait, have you smoked a wet sock?
No, I not recently, but but it's got this kind of this almost pleasant flavor, pleasant smell, but it's like this kind of weird mustiness to it. So it's like if you walk in a relative's house you hadn't been into a while. I'm in the South, so this kind of stuff happens. And and relative's house you hadn't been into a while, and maybe there's a room that that someone hasn't cleaned in a long time. You walk in there and there's some really nice memories in there, but no one's been in there for a long time, and you just kind of has a smell to it. It's like maybe picking up an old book or something. I don't know, but these Oriental tobaccos kind of have that. When I smoke them, I don't particularly get a perfumey to them. When I think of perfume in the pipe tobacco, I think of Lakeland blends. Now, Lakeland, of course, is the northwest region of England. It has a real tradition of flavoring tobaccos, even non-aromatic tobaccos. They've got this kind of floral, soapy, perfumey, rose water kind of flavor to them that's just very, very unique. And I don't personally get that from Orientals. I tend to get more of a kind of a bittersweet, cedar, wood chips, hay flavor. Grassy. They almost kind of want to be Virginias, but they're stronger, and maybe a little more. There's just kind of a mustiness to them that I think is if it's used in the right proportion is extremely pleasant. So that's kind of where I would land on that. You may have friends or you may yourself, if you smoked, let's say straight Izmir, that do get kind of a perfumey flavor, but that's not my personal experience.
So take a wet sock, fill it up with wood chips, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
That's it.
Matthew,
Disgusting.
Great question. I hope that cleared it up for you. That's the great thing is in terms of taste, especially with various tobaccos and leaves, is something that we go through from time to time through various episodes, and one that I'm sure Oriental Tobaccos will be one that we'll exploring deeper yet again in the future. So, but yeah, thank you so much for sending in that question, Matthew. And hey, if you've got a pipe question of the week, you can send it in. It's show@countrysquireradio.com. Again, send it in at show@countrysquireradio.com. Quickfire questions! Ow! All right, man. Continuing on this week with quickfire questions sent in from Blues Piper. Blues Piper, of course, one of the users over at thispipelife.com. Thispipelife.com. Stay tuned to hear more. All right. You ready for this?
I'm ready, baby.
Okay, here we go. These are the last of the ones that he sent in. Oh, man. We really should vet this out before the show.
We really probably should, but yeah, maybe we ought to start with question 2.
All right, here we go. Toilet paper. Over or under?
Under.
Well, after a lot of what was the lesbian beer? Lesbian drink called again?
The Ouzo.
After a lot of Ouzo and consideration. Yeah, sure. It's the same thing. I'll put the toilet paper.
Just take the lead.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving on.
I've always used a Missouri Meerschaum corn cob. What?
Wine. Red or white?
Typically red. I love white wine. I really do love white wine, but red, if I had to pick one to live with the rest of my life, it'd be a red wine.
You know what's interesting is I have noticed when I travel from time to time with my wife, whenever we're outside of the South and I order her a red but get a white for myself, there's always eyebrows raised. They're like, "Oh, a white for you." I'm like, yeah, man, look, you don't understand. We're from the South. Down here,
it's hot.
It gets really hot. So having a refreshing beverage, it's important. And so
one of my favorite memories of you, Beau, is being on Bourbon Street and you got a glass of Pinot Grigio.
Wait,
that was so funny.
John David.
And we're sitting there drinking Hurricanes and stuff. And
that was not me.
There you are with Pinot Grigio.
That was not me.
I remember it very vividly. I don't remember things later that night, but I remember that very vividly. It was fantastic.
Did that happen? Was that at the piano bar?
No, it was before that. Yeah,
was it?
I'm sure it was a fine glass of Pinot Grigio.
It was,
but we all had a good chuckle from it.
It was with oysters. You don't drink Hurricanes with oysters unless you want the kind of night that you ended up having.
And there's that.
All right. So You said red wine, but you tend.
I like white, but I would have to pick red if I had to pick one of the other.
I'll go white 9 times out of 10. I tend to go with white unless it's warm outside or unless it's cool outside, which is practically never down here. Beer in the bottle or in a glass.
Glass.
Nice.
I love a draft beer if I can get my hands on one, but yeah, even if I get it in a bottle, I like to put it typically in a glass.
If it's a cheap beer, then keep it in the bottle because why would you bother?
Why waste a good glass?
Exactly. But yeah, otherwise I'm right there with you. And then finally, bowling or pool.
Pool. I don't have the option to play pool very often, but I do like it.
Yeah. Do we have the option? Is there a bowling alley in the city limits anymore?
Not. It's in Flowwood. Yeah, kind of close by.
Okay. Did you ever go to the bowling alley, Laurel Lanes?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you ever experience a birthday party at Laurel Lanes?
Was that where they turned the lights off at nighttime and had the black lights and the neons and everything? Yeah.
And then you get all the kids at your birthday party sign the bowling pin and they give it to you as a gift.
I don't remember that, but that's fantastic.
I don't remember that either. I never had a birthday at Laurel Lanes, Mom. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Love you, Mom. That was just for laughs. But no. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. I'm terrible at both, but pool's kind of classier.
Go pool. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Quick fire questions sent in from Blues Piper. Thank you for those, Blues Piper.
What an episode.
Squire Select, man. Who knows what's going to happen?
All bets are off.
That's right. We appreciate you sending those in. Of course, those are sent in from the forums over at thispipelife.com, an amazing online community. And thispipelife.com, they're constantly branching out. I actually saw that recently they put together a playlist, a pipe smokers playlist in terms of recommended music.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
That's such a cool thing. If you have
music for different blends, even I think, or different genres. Yeah.
There's a lot of thought that's going into kind of pipe culture. And that's something that I really appreciate about the folks that are behind that. So if you've never checked it out, it's thispipelife.com. You need to register to get on, but it's absolutely free to do. And when you use the code CSR at registration, that lets them know you heard about it on the show. And it's a great way to help us out as well. They got Facebook, they got Twitter, they got a YouTube channel, they got Instagram. Check them out, thispipelife.com. Again, use the code CSR when you register at thispipelife.com. Listener feedback. All right, man, we got some great listener feedback.
Yeah, this is great.
This actually comes in from a young man named Rush. He prefers to go by Beard Core.
Beard Core.
Beard Core.
Beard Core. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me.
What does young Beard Core have to say?
Our good friend Rush says, "Hey fellas, longtime listener, first time messenger. Love the show. Been a fan since I found out about CSR. You guys have a great way to make me feel like I'm in the room with you guys during the show, whether it be live or on the podcast. I find myself talking back as if I'm in conversation, making smart-ass remarks or correcting Beau when he butchers someone's name."
Sean Connery is a member of the...
We're just really easy targets. It's a lot of fun. Especially enjoy Beau's voices. That makes one of us. We should voice a cartoon. I'm sure he's talking to you, Beau. John David, let's drink scotch and talk about the universe. Always a joy to learn something new about pipes, tobacco, history, or ... Star Wars. Or was it The Flash? I appreciate the laughs and such a friendly atmosphere. Someday I hope to make it to my pilgrimage to the Country Squire as well. Beau and John David, you're the best. On to business. And then he says, so in the episode from 2 weeks ago, Beau claimed that people from the Midwest didn't know how to use spice and flavorings when cooking and blah, blah, blah. I think that gauntlet was thrown down. I do think that was right. Man, we're getting some great memes tonight. So anyway,
that was definitely thrown down, and I stand by it.
Yeah. So Rush continues. He says, then you got specific apparently about the state. Not only that, he also texted me to find out if I listened to the live show. So challenge accepted, Chef Beau York. I'll show you what the beard can do with all the flavors come August and September. Let's tamp that ash and taste the rainbow. Love you guys. Rush, aka Beard Core. So
I feel like we've been tasting the rainbow all night, but let me tell you, Rush.
Maybe so.
Rush, of course, we're having a little bit of fun at Rush's expense. Of course, Rush, longtime listener, and actually was one of our first ever guests on the show for the work that he's been doing with Father the Flame.
Wow, it's amazing.
Amazing online not online, amazing documentary.
Yeah, on pipe smoking and pipe carving.
Absolutely. If you're not familiar with it, you've got to check it out. We've got the interview back in our archives, and so definitely check out that interview. But no, Rush, buddy, it's on. Get out the Donkey Kong because it's on. I'm telling you, man. Like,
I just want to know how this is going to go down. Like, are y'all going to freeze dry some food and ship them to each other?
It's a little. Well, no, I'll be up there.
Oh, you're going to go up there?
Look, I make.
Oh no, you go on your annual trip. Yeah.
This is why all the Grand Rapids folks, when you were in Chicago, they're like, "Where's Beau?" It's because like I go up there every single year. It's the Grand Rapids Country Squire Radio listener meetup. It happens annually. This will be our 3rd or 4th time coming up in August.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I don't know how it's on, but it is definitely on. Maybe you bring some food, maybe I bring some food. You know what? That's what we'll do. I'll make some food at my in-laws. I will bring it. You bring some food, and you can't let anybody else as part of your crew up there know. We will have them sample it, and they will choose what tastes better. Probably making gumbo. And I am an international award-winning gumbo chef.
And by international,
it's the international gumbo competition.
Smith Park in Jackson, Mississippi.
It's international. It says it on the trophy, sir.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. No, that's great.
But yeah, absolutely love that. Thanks so much for that, Rush. Hey, if you got some listener feedback, you can send it on Facebook, Twitter, emails. Those are all great. We especially love getting iTunes reviews.
Helps us so much to do those on iTunes.
Yeah, big time. So if you haven't headed over to iTunes and written us a review, definitely do that. We love, in fact, the next one that we get in on iTunes, we'll be sure to read it immediately on the show. So y'all be sure to do that. You can also keep up with us throughout the week. Actually, before I get into the contact information, I'll mention one more time that next week is our 200th episode of Country Squire Radio.
That's right.
200th episode. It's going to be happening here at the Country Squire. We're opening up the doors. If you haven't gotten your tickets, you can get them at countrysquireradio.com. All the information is there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that being said, you can keep up with us throughout the week. You can follow us online on Twitter at Squire Radio. You can, of course, follow me. I'm at The Real Beau York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at @_Country Squire.
And, of course, all that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com, where we do broadcast live every single week. In fact, even if you're not here, you will be able to tune in for the live show, although next week it will be at the old time, which is 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and do the math on trying to get the other time zones
for your local time zone.
Exactly.
That's right.
But so 6:30 there, and then also if you go to countrysquireradio.com, we actually have a little thing that counts down the hours.
That's
so,
right. That's
you know.
right. Dude, I'm excited about next week, man. I really am. I have to say, it's just been such a joy to do this with you. For several years now. Gosh, has it been 4 years, 5 years?
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, 200 episodes would be 4 years. So,
it took us 4 years to go to drink ouzo together.
To drink ouzo from the Isle of Lesbos.
Ouzo?
Ouzo.
Okay, you put a B in there.
The ouzo's getting to me.
It's getting to you.
It's really not. But man, I'm so excited. We hope if you're close by that you'll be able to make it, and we're just really thankful for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to crush this can of Deception Pass from Seattle Pipe Club and continue to drink my lesbian ouzo.
All right. Well, man, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
Thanks so much for y'all tuning in to the live show. The memes tonight, guys.
They were out of control.
Did you see Mark VV's?
I saw every one of them.
Oh man. Yeah,
it's just unbelievable.
Nobody tell my mom I made that joke.
No, look, I mean,
nobody tell my mom about the memes. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Drinks Pinot Grigio while chastising his home.
Oh man, it's just fantastic.
That's dangerous.
I don't know if we can retweet any of these.
No,
but we'll definitely,
not that one.
But we'll definitely like them.
Oh man, I think my mom's on Twitter too. That's terrible. I'm gonna get ahead of that one. I'm gonna call her up.
Yeah, just go ahead and get on the front end of that.
Mom, let me just start off by telling you what I was drinking.
That'll solve it all.
Oh man. Okay.
But son, you've got kids. Thanks for showing up, guys, and watching with us and enjoying this ridiculous night.
All right. Next week.
See y'all next week.
See y'all.
Bye.